Welcome back to Carlton for Life. My name's Carlton, and I created this platform to educate people on why they should be using life insurance in their wealth building strategy and showing them how to do it. I also created this platform to take the opportunity to call people out. Today, we're going to be calling out homeowners that own a home and don't have sufficient life insurance coverage. We're going to call out individuals that have bought a home, paying their mortgage, and which means they're probably paying private mortgage insurance if they put down less than 20%. They're paying homeowners insurance. They've paid title insurance. They're in a flood zone. They're paying flood insurance. They're paying all these insurances. There's no excuse why they have insurance on their homes and don't have insurance on their lives. If you are someone that owns a home and doesn't have sufficient life insurance coverage, where if something happens to you, your loved ones will be able to pay off your home and not have to struggle and risk foreclosure. If you are that person, today we're calling you out. Let's get into it. Listen, before we even get into it, let's address what most people that don't have life insurance or sufficient coverage say when I tell them they need it, right? Or when we're having the discussion about life insurance. Bunch of excuses. Main one being they can't afford it, right? Oh, well, I just bought a house. I'm taking on this mortgage. There's stuff I got to take care in the house. I can't afford life insurance right now. Right? That's number one excuse. That's like buying a car and saying, "Oh, I got this car, and I got these new car payments, but I can't afford the car insurance." Guess what? It's not going to happen, right? Because by law, you have to have car insurance, and if you have a loan on that car and you're financing it or leasing it, you got to have full coverage, right? And these same people that say they can't afford life insurance on their homes are the same people that own vehicles, and they make sure they're paying that car insurance, right? And it could be because they're being forced to pay it, right? And if you think about it, the insurances that you pay when you buy your home, you're being forced to pay it as well, right? In most cases, if you're taking out a mortgage and you're putting down less than 20%, you're probably going to have to pay PMI, right? Private mortgage insurance. They are going to make sure that they are protected, right? You pay private mortgage insurance because you have very little skin in the game when you get that loan, right? A lot of these loans, like a FHA loan, you're only putting down 3.5%. So of course that lender is going to make you pay private mortgage insurance because if you default, they're going to be protected, right? Homeowners insurance. No lender is going to let you buy a home, take out a mortgage, and God forbid something happens to that house. If that house burns down, they want to make sure that you have sufficient insurance to rebuild it so you'll continue to pay that loan, right? So they're not going to let you buy that house without homeowners insurance. Flood insurance, same idea, right? If you're in a flood zone, they're going to make sure you have sufficient coverage in case your house floods, right? So what's going on here? You are being forced to get this insurance, so you're going to get it. You're not going to say, I can't afford that, because you know what they're going to say? Listen, you can't afford the home. If you can't afford the insurance, then you can't afford the home, right? Try again next year. That's what they're going to tell you. It's not for you. But these same people will say they can't afford life insurance because they're not being forced to pay it. It's a mentality, right? It's a mindset, right? We say we can't afford something when we're not being forced to pay it because we got the liberty to do that, right? We're able to buy a home and we can't do what we want when it comes to insurance because in order to close on that home, the lender is expecting certain assurances, and that is that you pay for insurance, right? Your family and yourself should demand the same protection. You understand what I'm saying? Just because somebody is forcing you to get insurance on your home doesn't mean you shouldn't force yourself to get insurance on your life. I can't understand how someone can take the necessary steps to budget and make sure they can afford insurance on a structure, on a building, right? Your home is a building. It's an object, right? course, it has benefits. You can live in it. I get it, right? But people are more willing to ensure that they have a budget for their home insurance before they ensure that they have a budget for their lives. That makes no sense if you really sit down and think about it, right? You're going to let the lender force you to get insurance on that home, but you're not going to make yourself force yourself to get insurance on your life. And I understand it's not lost on me that, a lot of people procrastinate, right? A lot of people are like, man, I'm going to get it. I just bought this house. Next year, when I get my money together, when I've been paying the mortgage for a while, I'll be able to get it, right? They have this belief that they're in control of their life, right? They think that whatever they're thinking, right? A lot of it's that they think they have more time. We all think we have more time, right? I mean, think about this question here, right? How much life insurance would you get on yourself if you knew you were going to die tomorrow, right? If you knew you were going to die tomorrow, you'd be running to a life insurance agent to make sure you get life insurance and your family's good, right? But because we all think we have more time, when it comes to life insurance, we procrastinate. We'll go out and buy this home, spend all this money on insurance for the home, but will not take the time to spend money on insurance for our lives. What happens if you buy that home and God forbid something happens to you? If you are the breadwinner, if your money and income is needed to pay that mortgage, when you die, how is that mortgage getting paid? How is your family going to pay a mortgage while they also mourn you? And the real question is, how do you leave your house every day comfortably, where going to the world where anything can happen to you, right? Coming back home is not promised to you. How do you leave your home comfortably without ensuring that if something does happen to you, your family is going to be good? I don't understand it. I don't understand how someone could be moving around in this world and not make sure that God forbid something should happen to them. They know their family is going to be good. They're going to be able to pay off their house. They're going to be able to stay in their house. They're going to be able to continue to not struggle and not have to beg for money, right? They don't have to be on no GoFundMe. They don't have to go to the church. They don't have to go to their job asking for a collection. They will be good. Now, how much is a life insurance policy, right? I want to look at some numbers, right? Because I want people to understand what we really talking about here when we say we can't afford life insurance, or when we procrastinate getting it, right? For a fairly healthy 30-year-old, right? This isn't even top health. Let's just say I'm healthy, right? A healthy 30-year-old can get a $1 million 30-year term policy, which will cover the course of the loan, right? Let's say you just bought your home, a 30-year mortgage, for a 30-year term policy, $1 million, $138 a month. That's less than $35 a week. For less than $35 a week, you could have $1 million of life insurance. There is no excuse why for less than $35 a week, you can't get $1 million of life insurance to make sure your family is good just in case something happens to you. Let's look at a 40-year-old, right? That's a 30-year-old. Let's say when you bought your home, you was 40 years old, right? Same $1 million. How much would it be for a 40-year-old male? And mind you, that's a male. It's even cheaper for females, right? We'll take a look at females as well. Do, do, do. So for a 40-year-old male, $1 million, 30 years, $223 a month. 40 years old, you just bought your home, 30-year mortgage, which means you'll be paying that mortgage till you're 70, right? God forbid something should happen to you, you can get $1 million life insurance policy for $223 a month. For a female, 40 years old, $178 a month. Let's look at a female 30 years old. The male was 135. The female is $106 a month. So these are the numbers, right? So for people to say that they can't afford life insurance to cover, and mind you, that's $1 million, right? You can, if you really feel like you can't afford the million, you can get 500,000. You can get whatever your mortgage is, right? Whatever the cost of your home is, you can get that to just make sure that your family has that. There's no excuse, right? I'm not giving it. The same people that say they can't afford the life insurance right now is the same people out drinking every couple weeks, right? Like you going out, you spending money on drinks, you ordering out to eat. You're spending money, right? If you could afford a home, if you qualified for a home to buy a house, believe me, they wouldn't have gave you that loan if you couldn't afford a couple $100 or less than a couple $100 to get a life insurance policy to protect yourself. Today, I'm calling you out, right? Stop being selfish. If you own your home and don't have sufficient life insurance to make sure your loved ones will not end up in foreclosure, it's bad enough they got to mourn your loss if you pass away, God forbid. They also have to worry about you think the bank cares about the fact that something happened to you? You think the bank is going to be like, oh man, we're sorry that such and such died. We'll let you live there. Don't worry about the mortgage payments. Don't worry about. Oh, he didn't have life insurance. Don't worry about it. We'll let you. They don't care. Nobody's coming to save your family if something should happen to you. It is on you. The same way the bank makes sure that you get all those different insurances before you close, you need to make sure that you and your loved ones have proper life insurance. So in case something happens to you, you will be taken care of and your family will be taken care of and don't have to worry about the prospects of foreclosure. All right? It's no excuse. Um, what more could I say? Like I've heard it all. I've heard every excuse for why people don't have life insurance, why they don't have the coverage. Oh, well, I got life insurance through my job. I'm good. What happens if you get fired? What happens if you get laid off? What happens if you leave that job? You still gonna own your house and be responsible for that? You know what I'm saying? You cannot rely on your job's group life insurance policy to cover. And a lot of times, by the way, that ain't even enough coverage, right? Your job's life insurance policies usually isn't enough coverage to cover the cost of paying off your home. So even then, you still need your own life insurance. All right. So stop making excuses. Get in touch with a life insurance agent. Get some life insurance. All right. Make sure if something happens to you, your family is good. Don't let your family be one of them families out there struggling when you are gone because you did not make sure you had sufficient life insurance. All right. My name's Carlton. The channel is Carlton for Life. Like, share, subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, Carlton for Life. And remember, if you're a client with Carlton today, you're a client with Carlton for Life.